behind saving and getting out of debt.
They paid off $14,000 in debt and doubled their savings.
Plus, should you give allowances, take out student loans, and sign up for credit cards? We'll tell you. Then, two of the biggest trailblazers for transgenders, Carmen Carrera, and from Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox. Plus, delicious cocktails for half the calories.
Honey, that's a good Mai Tai.
From Studio One in New York, it's Katie.
It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need the money, money, money. We just want to make the world pay. Forget about the price tag. It ain't about the cha-ching, cha-ching. Not about the
Welcome. Thank you. Woo-hoo. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all. Thanks for coming. You know, that's right. They may be singing it's not about the money, but it's hard to forget about the price tag when there's not enough money, right? 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and have more credit card debt than savings, if they have any savings at all. So today we're going to help you do something about that. Money can't buy you love, but it sure can buy you some peace of mind. And from paying off all that debt to getting on the road to a retirement account, this big conversation is for you. Dave Ramsey and his daughter, Rachel Cruze, have helped countless people attain financial freedom. And today, it might be your turn. To the 8 million listeners who tune into his radio show every week,
it's the Dave Ramsey Show, a whole new way. Sense of where you're going with your money.
Paid off $450,000.
You pay off $247,000 in debt in 4 years. You're rock stars.
with sold-out seminars and New York Times bestsellers like Financial Peace, More Than Enough, Leadership, and The Total Money Makeover. With over 1 million followers on Facebook and Twitter, Dave Ramsey has made it his mission to help Americans find financial freedom.
70% are living paycheck to paycheck. 55% are worried about it.
Ramsey knows what not to do from personal experience.
This is not get rich quick, and it's not easy.
He was a millionaire in real estate by the age of 26, but lost it all by 28 and declared bankruptcy.
Yes, I lost money in real estate, but also made a lot of money in real estate.
He learned from his mistakes and is now teaching those lessons to others. He's the financial voice of reason.
Welcome back to the Dave Ramsey Show.
People from coast to coast hang on his every word and swear his advice has changed their financial futures forever.
Joining me on the microphone.
Now he's teaming up with his daughter, Rachel Cruze, and together they've set their sights on teaching financial responsibility to a whole new generation. So please welcome Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruze. Meet you both. Great to have you, and I'm so excited about this show because so many people need help when it comes to managing money. And I know you guys describe yourself as the father-daughter tag team of financial fixers. And you do very different things, right?
Absolutely.
So, Dave, what is your sort of specialty?
Well, Rachel always laughs and says her dad's the emergency surgeon. And, you know, she pretty much is the preventive medicine. So she's going into high schools and colleges all over America, and I'm the guy that deals with things after they're broken. I get to help people when they're doing good, too, but she's getting to help that that next generation. And
I guess you have the experience to really share with these kids because having Dave as a dad,
yes.
You probably learned financial literacy at a very early age. How did he do... Was he a taskmaster? I mean, how did he teach you about these things?
And one great thing Mom and Dad did, which I'm so thankful for, is they really lived out these principles. So I always tell parents, more is caught than taught. Your kids are watching you. Be that example. I mean, I can remember being in the 3rd grade and Mom pulling out a $100 bill at the grocery store to pay for our groceries because they teach no debt and you use cash. And being a 3rd grader, I was like, it takes $100 to spend on groceries? And she was like, yes, Rachel. And that's just a memory ingrained in my mind that they actually lived this out. And so that's huge.
So I know that you all taught Rachel about debt, and yet at the same time you made all this money, as we heard, Dave, and by 30, you lost it all. So what happened? You declared bankruptcy, right?
Absolutely. I got a PhD in DUMB. I did it all.
That's funny. I'm going to use that sometime.
I started buying and selling real estate, and I did. I got wealthy, at least by a kid from Antioch, Tennessee standards. I had about $4 million worth, and then the banker called the notes because I had done it dumb, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned.
And so how did you two pick yourselves up, dust yourselves off, and start all over again?
And we started applying these common sense, basic principles of handling money to our lives, and they started working.
Like what?
Well, like getting out of debt and being on a budget and living on less than you make, and, you know, basic stuff that we kind of all know, but none of us do. And so we started actually doing it because we were hurting so badly.
Why do you think young people today are still having so many problems kind of managing their money and planning for the future and all the things that your dad did wrong? Why are they still doing them?
Sure. Well, when I go and talk to these, college students, as I'm talking to them, I realize there's just a lack of knowledge. No one sat down and talked to them. It's not taught in schools. A lot of their parents didn't teach them. So they just truly, they don't know.
Now, we were going to go through a list of the top money mistakes people are making. First, living on borrowed money. Dave?
Well, it's just a huge problem because your #1 wealth building tool is your income. And when you commit your income to someone else in the form of payments, and all the money comes in and all the money goes out every month, and you have no money left, then you retire broke because you've given it all to a bank, you've given it all to a car company, you've worked your whole life to pay payments. You feel like a rat in a wheel. And an example of that is the average car payment in America right now is $486 over 82 months. If you were to invest that car payment instead of having a car payment, drive a cheaper car that you paid for, from age 30 to age 70, you'd have $5.6 million in a mutual fund.
Wow.
So it's expensive, this thing called debt, and it takes our life away mathematically.
Next, not having an emergency fund. Big mistake. Rachel, explain that.
It is, yeah. A lot of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you lose that paycheck, if you lose the job, most people, then they're going to be behind on their bills. So getting that rainy day fund is key. That's so, so important because it's going to rain. People say, well, you need to be positive. I'm positive. It's going to rain. Things are going to come up. So
and how much should be set aside, do you think?
A fully funded emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses.
You also say a big mistake is not committing to a budget.
Yeah, and that's a hard one. Everybody knows I got to do a budget, but it's a written plan. I always tell folks, if you manage money for a company called You Incorporated, and you manage money for You Incorporated the way you manage money for you now, would you fire you? Don't answer that, right? But, and you have to be intentional with the dollars. You have to tell those dollars to behave. And we just say, on paper, on purpose, give every dollar a name. Don't get to April and do your tax returns and go, look how much money we made. Where did it all go? Don't have those moments where you're just lost. Instead, make the money behave. You'll feel like you got a raise when you do it.
And we have a sample budget sheet you say everyone needs to fill out. Can you explain that, Dave?
Well, this is just a simple, quickie budget. It's a very simple thing. And obviously, just to help you with categories to remember, we have to spend money on food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities, but there's other stuff. And you really just want to go through and say, hey, my income's here at the top, and then I'm going to give every dollar a name down to zero. Every dollar has a mission, an assignment down to zero. And when I get down to zero, then I've got a plan. And if you're married, you agree on that with your spouse, and you pinky swear and spit shake. This is a contract.
Maybe we could put that budget sheet on our website because I think that would be really helpful for people. Well, up next, we're going to have more answers to your money questions. We're going to meet a couple who paid off $14,000 in debt and doubled their savings in less than a year. We're going to find out how, plus their hilarious online ode to Dave. That's right after this.
All I want is money. Talk is the dope.
The financial father-daughter duo, Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruze. For more than 20 years, Dave has been the go-to guy for everyday money management. Now his daughter Rachel is spreading the wealth of knowledge, that is, to a whole new generation. When people found out you guys were going to be here, they went crazy, and we got a lot of questions. So we have one, first of all, from our studio audience. Kelly from Flanders, New Jersey is here. Kelly, what's your question for Dave and Rachel?
My question is, what is the first step to starting to pay off your debt?
Well, the first step is to stop borrowing anymore. Get the credit cards out and have a plastectomy. Chop them up, baby. Be done with it. Draw a line in the sand and say no more. And then the second step would be what we call the debt snowball. And that's where you list your debts, smallest to largest balance, pay minimum payments on everything but the little one, and then attack the little one with a vengeance. I mean, sell so much stuff the kids are afraid they're next. And you get real intense and real focused. When that smallest one is gone, you move right down that list. And every time you knock one off, you get encouraged.
All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful, Kelly. And next we have Holly from Aiken, South Carolina. And Holly is actually on the telephone. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
What's your question for Dave and Rachel?
My question is, I'll be graduating this coming May with my doctorate in pharmacy, and I'm currently $236,000 in student loan debt. What's the best way to pay back my student loans and budget for my future once I have an income?
Wow. How common, first of all, is Holly's problem, Rachel?
Well, student loans are a huge issue today. I mean, this is probably the lie my generation has believed the most, that you have to have a loan to go to school. But my advice to Holly would be, you kind of need to panic, like in a way that you need to know that this is intense. Like you've got to get on a plan quickly. You've got to realize that this is a lot of debt, and that's how you have to act. You have to go crazy. And so when you get out of school, get a $1,000 emergency fund, and then do the debt snowball with what Dad just talked about, listing out all your debts, smallest to largest. And thankfully, if you are a pharmacist, hopefully you will be getting a larger paycheck. Hopefully, if you do get that job, you will be making some money, but don't act like you're making that kind of money. Live on nothing and put all extra money towards that debt and pay it off quickly, 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 quickly.
Thank you for your question, Holly, and good luck.
Thank you.
And what do kids need to know before they even apply for student loans, Rachel?
Research has shown if the average college student works 20 hours a week, they can pay their way through an in-state school. Do that and apply for scholarships and grants like crazy. So there are ways to go to school debt-free, but it's become a lie that you can't be a student without a student loan.
And in fact, there are a lot of scholarships we've learned here on this show that people just don't know about. And a little bit of research can really pay off.
Yes.
In the long term. All right. And finally, Jake and Dani Grant from Bethlehem, New Hampshire, took one of Dave's courses, and in less than a year, must be a good teacher, because they paid off $14,000 in debt and doubled their savings, and they're here today. Hi, guys. How are you? Nice to see you. So, I guess to start off with, Dani, how did you guys get into this much debt to begin with?
That's a great question. I married the debt.
Oh, ouch, Jake.
I am very much the saver, so I'm always like, when I got a car loan, which I think is the only loan I've ever had, I was like, pay it off as fast as I could. Whereas my husband is the spender. He's okay with the week-to-week pay, living off of what he makes. And so he had the car payment, he had the motorcycle, he had the credit card. So I married the debt.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that.
How did you change your tune, Jake, and how did you get out of debt?
We realized very early on in our marriage that we were going to butt heads over money. And it just happened that Dave's Financial Peace University class was going to be put on at our church. And I forget which one of us brought it up, but we're like, we have to go to this. So we followed his baby steps, and we stuck to the plan. And with gazelle intensity, like Dave so often says. And I think that was the key, is just committing ourselves to the plan, but it worked. The plan worked for us.
And I would think that this is pretty common. You know, have two different spending habits or saving habits, and it creates a lot of friction for couples, doesn't it?
It's the #1 cause of divorce in North America today, money fights and money problems. And opposites do attract. One of you's late, the other one's on time, one of you's burning up, the other one's freezing to death, one of you's a saver, one of you's a spender. You know, Larry Burkett used to say, if two people just alike get married, one of you's unnecessary.
Well, and I think, you know, you do now have peace of mind, and it's one less thing to argue about and worry about, and that gives you a lot of time to just enjoy each other more, I imagine.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I know that to commemorate your success, you guys created a bit of an online ode to Dave to I guess, show your appreciation for his sound and sage advice. So let's take a look.
We made the change to go against type and get real about money before we paid the price. We've set ahead the steps to build wealth so tomorrow we can live like nobody else.
Call us crazy. That's the name of the game. Dave Ramsey. He knows how to save. He's the flame of the day, rearranging your brain, taking aim on the ways you gain change today. And just like Dave, we're gonna be dedicated and never sway from the ways we build our savings. And when the dues are paid, we're gonna buy a Mustang and cruise the views from South Beach to Palm Bay.
Wow! Who knew? It is brilliant. I think you have a future in doing music videos. I'm serious. You could do that on the side. When you first saw that video, because I know you guys have seen it before, but what did you think? You must have been so tickled.
Oh, it's fun. The big thing is that A, they're having fun, B, they're working together, and they are. They deliver that message of if you live like no one else, later you get to live and give like no one else.
Well, that's great. I'm so proud of both of you. And by the way, when we come back, we are going to put Dani and Jake's newfound financial expertise to the test by playing a little game of Money Mythbusters. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's right after that. Of money management, Dave Ramsey and his daughter Rachel Cruze, who are going to bust some of the most common myths about money. After paying down their debt and doubling their savings, Dani and Jake Grant consider themselves penny pension pros. So we're going to put their knowledge and our audiences to the test. Here is how it works. I'll read a statement. Dani and Jake will have to determine if that statement is a myth or truth. For every correct answer they give, they will receive 10 seconds in our money catcher, which is loaded with $5,000. So, why do I feel like Pat Sajak all of a sudden? Anyway, you guys in the audience should be ready to help them out, so grab those paddles. Let's begin. Number one, myth or truth? Credit cards are safer than debit cards for fraud and theft. Audience? I see mostly truths out there. Jake, Dani, what do you think?
That's a myth.
That's a myth?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Rachel, are they right?
You are correct. It is a myth. Yes.
Okay, can you explain?
Yes, which is interesting. Now, when you run your debit card, if you click credit instead of debit and put in your PIN, you click credit and sign your name, you're running it as a credit card, which means you get Visa and MasterCard's full protection on theft and fraud. So yes, your debit card, if you run it as a credit, you're good to go.
All right, nice job. So far, 10 seconds in the money catcher. Okay, now, myth or truth? Do you like our music? So dramatic. People should start saving for retirement first and their kids' college second. Truth or myth? I see mostly truths out there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with truth.
Rachel?
You are correct. That is
wow. Nice. Really? It is counterintuitive.
Yes.
It's counterintuitive. Why are they right?
Because retirement is going to happen whether you like it or not. Right. And so the most ideal situation is to be funding 15% of your income into retirement and then save for your kids' college after that. But your priority is retirement.
All right. Sure. Nice job. 20 seconds in the money catcher. And finally, myth or truth? Thank you. Is it necessary to keep at least one credit card under your name to be able to rent a car, check into a hotel, or buy online?
Are you guys sure?
You're supposed to cut them all up, so you can't keep any. So it's a myth.
It's a myth?
And like Dave says, you can do with a debit card what you can with a credit card, so.
So, myth or truth?
They're right again.
Okay, so seriously, I don't need a credit card when I need to make a hotel reservation?
I stayed in a nice hotel last night. I used my debit card.
All right.
I've rented cars with debit cards. I buy things online with debit cards. It's just like a credit card. The only difference is you have to use real money, yours.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, see, you all have learned something today. So, very impressive, Jake and Dani. You got 3 right, so that's 30 seconds in the money catcher. Who's going in? Dani. All right. Go ahead.
She's got quicker hands.
Okay. Ready? Start the clock.
I love it.
That is so funny. Nice job. You wore the right shirt today, too, Dani. All right. I know. Nice job. And she's really soft to hug right now, right? Got a lot of stuffing there. Well, I know that you guys, Jake and Dani, you're going to go and count all the money in your shirt, and you're going to check back in with us at the end of the show so we know how much you got.
Okay.
This was so fun. You guys go ahead and go count your money. Thank you so much. This was so fun. Dave and Rachel, thank you both so much. And everyone is going home with a copy of Dave's book, The Total Money Makeover. If you want to learn more Money Myths, you can head to our website at katiecouric.com. You know, it seems to be a bit of a shame to leave all that money in the money catcher. So earlier we heard from Kelly because she's in debt and trying to get out of it. So Kelly, we thought we'd give you 30 seconds in the money catcher. So come on up. And we'll start the clock. We'll go to break, and you can come back with Dani and Jake and tell us how much you've collected as well. Okay. Okay. Start the clock and go. And we'll be back right after this. With our penny pension pros, Jake and Dani Grant and Kelly Giamenko from our audience. Earlier in the show, Dani and Kelly took a turn in our money catcher. All right. How did you guys do? Let's first start with Dani and Jake. How much money did you catch?
$594.
Nice job. All right. Kelly, I know it was a big surprise we called you up to the money catcher. We just thought that would be fun. How much did you get?
$572.
Nice job! Nice job! Well, we're so glad. Thank you all so much for coming, and enjoy that extra cash.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, we want to hear what you have to say about the topics we discussed today. Head to our website, our Facebook page, or tweet me at Katie Couric. I need to lay off the Mai Tai, I think. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.